Mr. Bosworth, your views on what's coming up in the budget and what you'd like to see?
I think the budget's going to be very challenging. I mean, obviously the Isle of Man's going through quite a difficult time at the moment. However, there are certain sectors of the economy which are booming, and what I hope to see in the budget is investment into those sectors.
And are you one of those sectors that are booming?
Yes, I mean, the ICT sector is doing particularly well at the moment. I mean, the latest GDP figures show that ICT is growing, particularly in the e-gaming sector, but we'd like to see some more investment into ICT and also the training of young people to go into that as a career.
Obviously, there's rumours of flying that there's going to be major cutbacks in certain areas, especially public services. Do you think that will have an impact on how you do business and the amount of money that's in the economy?
It's difficult to say. It depends where those cuts come. It depends whether the private sector can take up those, if there are redundancies, can take up those vacancies. So it's difficult to predict, really.
And what about the NEETs? Are you finding that you can employ some of those?
Yes, it's interesting that the Chamber of Commerce has got an initiative going at the moment to take on some NEETs, and we actually agreed only 2 days ago with Mike Hennessy to take on a NEET for a 3-month period. So I do think, yes, there are opportunities there to take the young people, give them some work experience and hopefully lead to a permanent job. So yes, we are supporting that.
Mr. Murray, your views on what might be in the Manx budget?
From what we've already seen as to the early stages of our now government, which I have to say I think have got off to a brilliant start, I would be absolutely convinced that it will be a budget that is set out to aid the process, one, of recovery, and two, to build growth for the economy going forward. I don't think there'll be any nasty surprises. Clearly there may be a couple of unpalatable things that we simply have to accept, but I'd be confident it will be a positive, helpful budget to take us forward.
I mean, your company's a big international player. You could be anywhere in the world. I mean, you're here obviously for all the tax structures and everything else. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to go where the best working environment is for the companies, isn't it?
Yeah, but of course, as a trading company, outside of largely the banking sector and one or two other anomalies, clearly corporation tax at this moment in time is not the issue at all. And to be perfectly honest, if I look at the contributions we make through things like gaming duty as well as the other contributions you make, primarily the reason for being in the Isle of Man is not tax. Of course it helps. It really isn't tax. It's much more about legal structure, infrastructure, closeness to the City of London, and our ability to grow our business as we've demonstrated from the Isle of Man, largely in the region of Asia.
And your relationship with the government as a business, is it easy to get decisions and the voice of the ministers?
Yeah, I've worked with other governments overseas in other continents. I can absolutely say that the relationship, we talk about our slogan of freedom to flourish, this government and this society, because it's a mix of public-private sector, we really do deliver against it. Helps tremendously. There is a debate about how one markets the island and its economy going forward. Should that be a responsibility of government or the private sector? It has to be both, and I think that's part of our success.
There's no doubt about it, though. The budget will see the purse strings tightened for everyone, won't it?
Yeah, the world has changed, the landscape has changed. Major governments, some closer to us, some further away, are broke, and some of the pain we're suffering is the knee-jerk reaction of bigger economies that are really having to scrape the barrel to collect in what are modest additional revenues, and we just have one to deal with that, whilst at the same time positioning ourselves that when the upturn comes, we'll be well placed to benefit from the growth.